Is your fixed income truly fixed income? Does it provide diversification, income, and risk management for your clients? At MFS, we help advisors deliver these essentials. We call it Essential Fixed Income. Find out more at mfs.com/fixed income.
Good evening, everybody. I'm KCReginaldJr.
It's your man, JW Justin Waters.
Welcome to Underdawg Sportz.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Again, I'm KCReginaldJr. with my man, J-Dub. Let's get right into
What's going on? That's all. You go ahead, baby.
All right, let's get right into it. Our first topic of the day is the officiating in the National Football League. The status of the officials in this league is just completely deplorable. I was listening briefly to ESPN and Trey Mingo today, and he said the following. No one's talking about how great the game is, even though this is the greatest era of football. All 90% of the world is talking about, as far as the NFL is related, is how crappy the officials are. These referees just got a new deal, and they're still not full-time. However, they did get a trainer. After seeing what we've seen through 6 weeks of football, I think that's the least that should have happened. Jada, what's your take on the state of officiating in the National Football League?
It's been bad. I mean, we could just look at the Packers game, and the calls on Trey Flowers were horrible. And it was just like, wow, are you serious? As much as I hate to say it, as much as the referees complained and they were, remember, either last year or the year before, they were threatening to go on strike. They got everything they wanted, but they're still not up to par. I mean, it's to the point maybe they need to get some of the college refs or something of that nature to go ahead and do it. But the officiating has been bad, and I think the NFL gives them more excuses to go ahead and make bad calls, i.e. the quote-unquote pass interference flag.
Yeah.
All that is y'all not doing your job right.
Or not quite pass interference. It depends on which game you're talking about. And that brings a very big point. Where's the accountability in this league? In this league, this is the largest sports league in all of the world, other than soccer. They make over $14 billion a year in revenue, and you don't hold your officials accountable. Where is the Monday morning press conference mandatory for the referee, for all the blown calls that are happening? Because I think it's time that these referees answer to people, because gambling's legal now, basically, and people are losing money off of these calls. I.e., let's look at the Chiefs game, for example, where these referees made a call, apparently wasn't talking to anybody in the league office in their huddle, came back and changed the call, even though they're acting like they're trying to hear someone a little bit closer. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but the fan I was sitting in front of at Arrowhead Stadium kept saying, that's a call from Vegas, baby, and it's starting to sound like it.
Well, here's the thing. You said that's a call. Oh, okay, never mind. That sounds like the gambling thing. I hate to say it, but maybe when they did the new CBA for the referees, that they needed to go ahead and probably reintegrate some of these referees with training. Maybe even
a lot of these. They hired a trainer. My big deal is these are not full-time people. After the season, they're going to go back to being lawyers or whatever the hell else they do. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. People are losing millions of dollars betting on this game. Fans are invested with their hearts into this game. And for you to have a part-time official is just bull.
It doesn't make sense. And a part-time official, they can hire somebody that can go ahead and work, 6 months out the year, just to make sure they can hire a team. Because trust me, like you said, they put enough money in it.
Well, as bad as they are, they need to work at least 9 months like the teachers. I'm just saying.
Right. and then the NFL should pay them. Here's the thing: if you can go ahead and have, because remember, NFL is technically 365 12-month sport because you're still at training camps and all that. If you can use the same referees to be designated for your Kansas Cities, your Houstons, your Pittsburghs, your New Yorks, and everything, and have them in training camp, that still counts as well. This actually keeps the refs in shape. That's one factor. Two, keep them up to par with rules and changes and regulations, because I do have one issue is every time they have a new NFL owners meeting, it seems like a new rule is changed and something has to be changed, and the refs don't integrate it into their lives until the season after it has been changed, which makes no sense. Again, like I keep saying, they keep using different things. Like the calls nowadays are so light. I mean, you can't touch this, do that. But I honestly think it's the referees not going ahead and being able to, let's say, ref easy. They make it more easy. Let me rephrase that. They're making it more easy to go ahead and ref these games. That's why all these calls are coming in.
These
so it's
referees are mostly genetic hand-me-downs. Like, because my dad was a good referee, that means I'm supposed to be one. The hell with everybody that actually worked hard and got there. Let's actually, you know what, this is going to go over on this topic, but since we're talking about officiating, can we also talk about this garbage instant replay of pass interference and why none of them gets overturned because the referee just can't be wrong? This is completely asinine. Why have the rule? Why even have the challenge if you're not going to overturn anything?
Well, you know what the percentage is right now? You know how many have – it's been 27.
So
today.
Why are the coaches still challenging?
Right. It's been 27. Only one's been turned over. 1 out of 27. And that's
so why
crazy.
are the coaches still challenging?
Because you know what? Here's the thing. The coaches are going to do it because they're going to keep the try. They got to be competitive. But the thing is with the NFL,
Let's look at the Chiefs game, for example. Just starting the fourth quarter, Andy Reid knows they're not going to overturn the pass interference call. They're just not going to do it. You got 3 timeouts. This game is kind of getting out of hand, or you need these timeouts to stay in this game. Why the hell would you throw that challenge if you know they do not reverse these calls?
Because he's going to still try. He's going to.
But they don't reverse. So you're wasting a timeout and a challenge.
Basically stating at least once. Every coach in the NFL has at least tried it once to see if it doesn't work or not.
But this isn't his first try.
But it didn't work. Okay, so he's going to keep trying. He's going to try anything in his power to win.
You know they're afraid to admit that these officials are wrong. They won't even hold them accountable for a Monday morning press conference like they make the freaking quarterback do. The quarterback has to answer for his mistakes, but the referees don't.
The refs aren't never going to do it because the fact of the matter is who's going to get the most heat? The quarterback that had 5 interceptions, the coach who made the bad
Leave
call.
Jameis Winston alone. We're not even talking about him in this show.
Right. So, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying hypothetically, even though Jameis Winston did have 5 interceptions in one game. Good Lord. But I told you about him. You want to keep running for this kid. But, again, they're going to go after the referees because who makes the most bad choices in a game? It's not the players. It's obviously the refs. The coaches can even get passes on it sometimes.
Here's my thing. I'm like, what's wrong with the AAF's drone above the game to get these idiots right? I don't understand that.
Just paid a shitload of money. Let's be real. Come on. You know how I talk. I talk that money. NFL just paid a shitload of money to give these refs a lot more leniency. So they're not going to, although they did the flag is because people, the coaches, the players, and the fans were complaining. So that's where all this pass interference stuff came. But let's be honest. The NFL is not going to go ahead and give you a shitload of money to be wrong.
Well, they're wrong.
Like, oh, it didn't happen.
I mean,
they're wrong all the time.
Regardless if the NFL wants to admit they're wrong, we're in the age of TV and high definition TV at that, or what we consider high definition now. So whether they admit it or not, the world knows they're wrong. This is why they got sued by the fans in New Orleans. But anyway,
exactly what I was just about to say. Look at last year should have been Super Bowl, and look what happened.
But anyway,
I'm just saying.
The NFL referees suck. The NFL isn't really doing a damn thing about it. So let's move on to something that we actually want to talk about. You want to talk about, I want to talk about, we went on social media to talk about the MVP debate. Who's your leader right now?
Russell Wilson, easy, hands down.
I
Seattle's
agree,
5-1.
but
Seattle's 5-1.
I don't say it's hands down.
Oh, it's hands down.
I don't think so.
Don't get me wrong. Your guy has no interceptions.
He has
14
one,
touchdowns.
even though he shouldn't, because the referees were on that bull.
I'm not going to count that one.
I'm going to count it because it happened.
It's a free play.
And it's in the books.
It's a free play.
It was a free
they
play.
counted, but it was a free play.
They suck.
So,
oh my
but
God.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lay out my 4 right now, and let's do the debate with that one. My 4 in order: Russell Wilson 1, Deshaun Watson 2, Patrick Mahomes 3, and he's at 3A because I got a 3B, and that's Christian McCaffrey over there in Carolina.
So you want to look up numbers?
Huh?
You want to look up numbers? Because I know you're trying to
I'm not going by numbers.
I think you're trying to get me
we're
fired
not gonna go by
up.
numbers.
No. We are going by numbers because this is called
You go by numbers because I got my stats up, baby.
Okay,
let's go. But what I'm keep telling you is
this is the most valuable player award in the National Football League. This is not I beat you one-on-one, so that makes me better this week. This is the most valuable. Who is the most valuable to their team? Since Patrick Mahomes has gotten hurt, the Chiefs have lost 2 games.
It's number 1, hands down.
And number 2 is Patrick Mahomes, hands down.
No,
with a bad ankle, we lost freaking 2 games because he can't move the way he normally moves. That's why they traded Alex Smith, most valuable player in the National Football League. Who sells tickets? Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
Really?
Deshaun Watson sells tickets, bro. He's box office. You cannot deny that. He is box office.
Yeah,
you're sitting
in
there.
Houston.
Yes, you're going to go with your guy. I'm keeping it real. You're going box office with Deshaun Watson.
Who draws the ratings on Monday Night Football?
It's Monday Night Football.
No. Who draws the ratings on Monday Night Football?
Here's the thing. You're going to go with the former MVP.
Who draws the ratings on Monday Night Football?
Russell Wilson and Tom Brady. If you want to get technical, we can say Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's going to get more his numbers are awful.
For what?
Because
Monday Night Football? His ratings? Don't do that. And I hate Tom Brady. Don't do that.
Stats. He's not been very good this year. Their defense is carrying that team. I'm doing that. He's playing like his age. I'm doing that. He's managing the games, and he's allowing his defense to do what they do, and he scores when he's given the opportunity.
Like it or not, he's 6-0.
I agree with you. They're the best team in football.
But we agree the fact of the matter is if you put one of those guys in New England system, they would be 6-0 too. Let's just be honest.
All righty. We're talking about MVP. Offensive leader in passing yards. Who's number 1?
I'm not going by stats. I'm going by wins.
They both have 4 wins. They both have 4 wins.
But who's more accountable for their wins for the team? If Patrick Mahomes gets injured today,
the Chiefs will lose their next 5 games.
You are tripping.
No, I am not. Matt Moore is our relief pitcher. Sir.
Who?
Matt Moore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, no. Patrick Mahomes is the most valuable player in the National Football League. How many times did the Chiefs run the ball last week? So, you know what? Let's do it. How many times did the Chiefs run the ball last week?
Who knows?
A total of 11. Sir, 11.
But y'all can't figure out a running back. That's y'all fault.
Bro,
that is truly y'all fault.
11
running
rushes, 52 yards is 4 yards a pop, basically. So
I'm sorry, it's called
that's more than 4 yards a pop. It doesn't matter who's running it. If you're getting 4 yards a pop, you should stick to it more. Anyway,
then that's y'all fault for not doing it. That's called coaching and balance.
Anyway, we're talking about the MVP right now. We're talking about the MVP.
And then MVP.
Offensive passing yards leader is Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, congratulations. Who is right now the MVP? Before we even go with
Russell Wilson is the
MVP
MVP right now.
Okay, so we're hands down both agreeing Russell Wilson's the MVP.
We're talking about number 2 right now.
No, we need
and
to
I don't care that Deshaun Watson
Mahomes,
had a better game. As a matter of fact, his game statistically wasn't better. He just won the game because he got a better defense than the Chiefs got.
It counts about and the Texans haven't exactly showed Okay,
So
well, let's go back.
the
The
Texans
best
can
player on the
win.
Texans defense
The
is who?
Texans can win without Deshaun Watson because they have a sufficient defense. They can actually cause turnovers, stop the run game, and at times stifle a quarterback. The Chiefs don't have
So
any of
now
that. So that's what
the
makes
Chiefs can
Patrick
do
Mahomes
that.
the most valuable player in the league. But I'm
So
giving
basically
it
you're
to
telling
Russell
me
Wilson because he's played better. Deshaun
he's
Watson has
done
not
it with
played
less.
better.
He's done better. With Russell Wilson, we can't even talk about it because he's done it with less.
I just
You
said
got- you're playing with
Russell
3
Wilson's
rookies,
played better. I agree
a
with
guy
Russell
that came
Wilson.
off of the
I do
AAF,
not agree with
whatever the
Deshaun
hell it is.
Watson.
I'm going with Deshaun Watson.
I
Now,
do
as
not
far
agree.
as my 3B, Christian McCaffrey sneaking up there is because the fact of the matter is Carolina is winning,
Bro,
or if they're
I
not winning,
think
they're
he's
playing
above
close because-
Watson. Because again,
son.
he means
Nah,
that,
son.
sir, if you they remove their starting quarterback and they're still winning. If you take that running back off of that team, they don't win another game.
So you mean to tell me what?
They don't win
Deshaun
another
Watson's
game.
fourth or nothing?
I'm saying he's fourth. In this particular instance, most valuable not only to his team but to the league. He's the fourth most valuable player right now. Can he eclipse all of those other players? Yes. I'm not saying he's stuck there. I'm saying right now, at week 6, going into week 7, he's fourth.
Again, 2-game losing streak for y'all. This kid is starting to
So
shine
it's what
again.
have you done for
I'm
me
going with
lately?
it.
It's not the fact that I've thrown more touchdowns than you, less interceptions than you, more yards than you. I have the
So
same
time out.
amount of wins
Let
as
me ask you a question. Excuse me, sir. Let me ask you a question. So does the MVP definitely? Let's just go ahead. Define the MVP.
Most
last
valuable
couple
player
years-
in the league.
Okay. I mean, I know what it's saying, duh. But let's break this down. So the years Tom Brady won MVP, who had the most yards or touchdowns in the league?
But he had more wins than those other guys. This guy is tied. You're just going off of a streak, and you're going off of what have you seen lately.
But
If
you're
you look
going off the stats.
I am going off of stats. I'm going off
Okay,
of.
but again,
I'm not.
it doesn't
But I'm.
make-
But I'm
MVP
not
is not
just going off of
definitive
stats.
of stats.
I'm also going off of the number of wins, which are equal. I'm also going off
Okay.
of who is most valuable to the team and to the league, and to both right now. That
Now, the
answers
only
Patrick
thing
Mahomes.
might get a slight advantage on Patrick Mahomes is the fact of the matter is the Deshaun Watson lost that Carolina game. That was a bad loss.
Exactly.
Y'all bad loss was against 2 more formidable teams.
Exactly.
The Carolina loss was a bad loss, but the Carolina loss wasn't on Deshaun. The Carolina loss was on that defense.
All I'm saying is, right now, you're on that. What have you done for me lately? And not looking at the full body of work. That's all I'm saying.
Look,
we're gonna
I'm
move
going
on.
to eye
We're
test
gonna
of what
move
I've
on.
seen.
We gotta move on.
I'm going to test what I've seen.
We gotta move on.
Going. Let's go.
Alrighty.
Let's talk about this cornerback carousel, which is very interesting
gosh.
to me.
It's enjoyable, but I'm with you. Let's first off go with the breaking news from yesterday. Jalen Ramsey is now a Los Angeles Ram. He was traded from the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this is going to make us go over our headlines, but we really need to do this. Also in the news, Marcus Peters was traded from the Los Angeles Rams to the Baltimore Ravens. The draft pick was not announced. The other compensation for Peters was a linebacker that I don't know that much about.
No, it was a 5th-round draft pick.
Oh, it was disclosed? Because last I read
Yeah,
it wasn't.
It was 5th round. They talked about it on another network.
And that's because he's been playing very bad.
Well, the reason why they got rid of him, from what has been said and when it came out the story, that he actually started pouting and just giving up on plays, which he gave up a huge touchdown last week. Peters and Jalen Ramsey are, I don't know if it's the new thing with all these cornerbacks pouting and not having their way, but this is bad. I'll be the first one when I think.
Let me interrupt real quick. And this is something that Andy Reid had said several times. Marcus Peters is real competitive, but he's an emotional guy. And I think he told the Rams that. That's why McVay handled him with kid gloves most of the time. But he's an emotional guy. And when you're an emotional person, those ups and downs hit harder than they hit most people. And with all that testosterone flowing with those emotions, I'm really surprised this guy didn't pull a Travis Kelce yet and push one of his coaches.
I can see that, but here's the thing. With Marcus Peters, I would think this would be a reality check for him to even step it up because Talib is on IR. So now he is the premier cornerback. It's not the dynamic duo of those two. With Jalen Ramsey, has a history of getting into or saying stupid stuff over time.
Do you think he's going to resign? Because they gave up 2 first-round picks for a guy who's not under contract past next year.
They're obviously going to give him the money because if you're giving up your future, mind you,
bro, it's not about the money.
Know,
everybody can match the money.
But here's the thing: they don't have a draft
make him
pick.
happy.
They got to make him happy, but they don't have a draft pick for the next 5 years and another first-round draft pick for the next 5. Now they can trade up to get in there, but you really just did bank your whole entire future on this guy.
I agree, but like I said, every team is going to throw the money at him because he's still technically considered the best corner in football. And if he's
I still don't think he's. I
don't believe that either.
Because I got Patrick Peterson over there down there being quiet in Arizona. I think he's better.
Doing his thing.
So this reminds me of the Josh Norman situation back in Carolina where all of a sudden the grass is not always greener. He was eating in Carolina, and when he got to Washington, he has never been the same. Josh Norman then went from household to no household very quickly.
But I'm going to tell you this. As far as Ramsey, he's going to a very similar situation where he had a dominant defensive line in Jacksonville, and he's got a dominant defensive line in Los Angeles. And he's going to Ramsey. I think Aaron Donald is dominant.
Yes, he is. He's one of the most dominant defensive players, if not
the most dominant defensive player in all of football. So, to me, that's enough pairing him with Jalen Ramsey. They should be the Super Bowl favorites out of the NFC. And I had the Saints all along. But now, well, if they can get Gurley back, because they were stifled offensively last week.
Exactly. Trust me, I have them on fantasy football, and it was pointless.
Here's
the thing I'm going to say about Jalen Ramsey. If the only way he can eat, and he'll eat right now, is one huge factor. Is the fact of the matter that division is not known for wide receivers. That is Russell Wilson makes magic out of anything. But that's a defensive division. I mean, you got Kyler Murray, but you got Kyler Murray.
Can you imagine Michael Singletary coaching in that division right now? He would be licking his chops. Right.
But there's not a deep threat in that division. San Fran doesn't have a deep threat yet. Larry's old. Christian Kirk is young. Huh?
Cooks is a deep threat.
Well, Cooks is on his team. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you talking? Yeah,
out of the 3 teams that Jalen's going to have to go against, the jury's still out on DK.
It ain't now on the fact that he can run a fly route and he's taller than everybody and bigger than everybody. He can catch the ball.
But the other factor is, DK has never stayed healthy. Can DK stay healthy to get to the play in the next game? So that's my jury's out for him. I like DK. I wanted him with the Steelers, but he got picked.
Everybody wanted him.
No, he went to the third round with everybody. But the thing about it is, you're going to pay a fortune for this cornerback who is known for getting into trouble.
They just paid Goff. They just paid Gurley. They just
paid
Donald. Where did they get this money?
And they lost money. That's how Stu walked because they didn't have enough money to go and pay Donald to Stu.
So where they getting this money? I know the NFL wants to pump the Los Angeles market. They want to suck up as much money as they can get out of there, and they're not getting much of it from the Chargers right now. But I'm a fan looking from the outside in, wondering how in the hell the Rams is spending all this money on basically what would be considered max contracts if you were in the NBA. Where's all the money coming from? I thought there was a salary cap. I don't know.
We'll find out, but they're going to have to cut the cost of some. But you see, it actually affected them too because they got rid of Roger Stafford, who ended up going to Detroit. That was their offensive tackle, and ever since then, the run game has struggled because your Pro Bowl offensive tackle you didn't want to pay. So we're seeing it happen where now their offense is struggling because now the Goff got to get that ball out quicker, and Todd Gurley is definitely not looking like Todd Gurley. He's looking. I don't even know what to call him. He just looked girly, period.
Oh, wow.
But it's struggling. He's struggling. Hey, man. He got to have more than one game for me. But okay.
I mean, I get that, but you can't call him girly, bro. Like,
hey,
anyway.
He hurt.
I got
put him
you.
on IR.
I got you. So, what does it do for Baltimore to get Marcus Peters?
To me, here's the thing. I also look, Marcus Peters' contract is up next year anyway. So if they get him for a 1-year rental and only cost him a 5th round, they're fine. I don't think it's a big loss to them if he doesn't act out. If he shines, hey, that's pretty good because you still got a division
He's got to be
division
motivated, right? This is now the second time he's been sent from a city, from a team, from a locker room.
But again, we can't sit there and say whatever this kid's motivation is because we don't know.
I mean, but he's got to be motivated now. Like, you got to prove something now. Because when the Chiefs traded you, you were at the top of your game, and everybody thought you were all this. Now you got traded for a 5th-round pick and a player. And you've been getting beat lately.
No contender.
And you've been getting beat lately. So I don't know that your value is where it was 2 years ago. So I think you really got to step it up now if you're walking in free agency next year. So I think he better get his mind out his ass and start playing as if he's playing for some money, because he kind of is.
I don't think he'll be. To me personally, I don't think Marcus Peters will ever be the elite cornerback he was when he was with y'all.
I don't know that he's elite. I think he's a zone cornerback, and I thought that in Kansas City. I think
he won't be.
I don't think he's a man-to-man cornerback but I don't think he's a man-to-man. He needs to be a safety then, because he is a ball hawk. He absolutely is that. Now, he can't be a safety because he won't hit. No, he can't hit. He can't hit at all, and he won't hit. He feels like he gets paid to catch the ball, and I'm not a tackler. So, yeah.
He thinks he's Deion Sanders.
Only
one man can get away with doing that.
And he was absolutely shut down. He was a shutdown. That's why he got away with it. All righty, we're moving off of our headlines. J-Dub doesn't see a huge impact from the Marcus Peters to the Ravens, but we'll see what happens. Now it's time for me to do what I need to do, and that is eat crow. I traveled all the way to Kansas City, Missouri, to watch the Kansas City Chiefs lay yet another egg in my hometown, in my stadium, for the first time in 13 years. And I mean, we got bullied again. The Houston Texans came in my house, our house, Arrowhead Stadium, and no, it wasn't a blowout because our offense is too good for that, but not good enough to win in the last couple of weeks or put up more than 25 points. But the Texans and Deshaun Watson win. Watson versus Mahomes, round 1. What'd you think of the game, Justin?
Here's the thing with the game. The game was very interesting on one thing. The Texans had a game plan to try to neutralize the quarterback, to neutralize Patrick Mahomes.
So that was one. He did throw 3 touchdowns.
Well, here's the thing. He's going to get his touchdowns regardless. That's just going to happen.
Well,
if you got a wide open man, my man can see it. The issue is,
what happened?
I know Patrick Mahomes is hurt.
I'm not making excuses here. I'm not going to blame the entire outcome of this game on this ridiculous call. But we have to talk about this pass interference call that was uncalled after some referee wasn't talking to somebody in their ear when the Chiefs had a chance to go up 24-3 and put this game away in the first quarter, basically. So, yes, the Texans won this game. Yes, the Texans deserve to win this game. But we're not going to just sit here and take a crap on this team. Because
no one said that was going to happen.
All right.
No one said that. I'm saying the game plan was to try.
It was the Lions' game plan.
Yeah, exactly.
And
but
it
now
was the Colts' game plan.
You have a hurt Patrick Mahomes. Let's keep it real. It started with the Lions thing because that's where Patrick got hurt.
Yes.
You have to basically keep Patrick in the pocket because he is. I'm gonna say this. He is one of the more accurate scramblers I've seen in the last 5 or 6 years. In
5 or 6?
Not ever.
Who's better on the run than him in your lifetime?
Steve Young.
No,
Sorry,
Steve Young
on the run
ran.
Was accurate.
Yeah, but not
Steve
like
Young
Patrick.
On the run was,
and not the way Patrick does it.
Anyways,
yeah.
Going back to it,
now
we'll
I
debate
understand what you're saying because Young won Super Bowls, so I'll give you that for now.
But here's the thing: when you go ahead and put it there, if you keep him in the pocket and force him to throw the ball, yeah, he's going to get his. But I'm more comfortable with him staying in the pocket versus running.
Well, they knew
that
already. The
Texans, although interesting enough, although J.J. Watt was not a factor in this game, he only had 2 tackles. Yeah. He had 2 tackles and 4 hurries. He was not the factor, the quote-unquote J.J. who usually is.
Wow.
Not to take that away from him. Because J.J. is one of the, I would say, last 10 years, one of the greatest defensive players in the
Was.
Yeah, but I mean, ain't everybody going to stay here. You're going to keep saying was, but the man still draws a double team.
He does, but I'm just saying was.
Now, Reggie White didn't stay to go. Bruce Smith didn't stay to go. None of them guys stayed to go.
I'm just saying, listen, I'm not arguing that he wasn't, but I want you to emphasize that he was and not currently is.
No, I'm saying currently because he just got neutralized against y'all because y'all zone play. But again, if he goes the next game, he could still get 3 sacks. I think he still has 4 sacks. Regardless of the matter, he's still a threat.
I mean, playing defense.
Going back to Patrick Mahomes is one. If you have a strong enough secondary to have remember, outside of Tyreek Hill, all your wide receivers you have, I would not try to double team any of them. Well, I would take the one-on-one match.
Just Kelsey, but he's not a wide receiver.
And Kelsey, how much did Kelsey put up? He didn't have a typical 80, 90-point game. I mean, 90-yard game.
We're going to talk about that at some point because I want to look at that position. No, I'm not just talking about him. I want to look at that position around the league because I think all those numbers are down.
Yeah, they are down because now what coaches are doing, they're putting more at wide receiver, and these guys aren't panning out.
And running
what
backs.
Do you do? You put them more. You got to make them a tight end. Stop trying to make them a 3rd or 4th wide receiver because that's not their spot. They're not fast enough, and unless they get a break, now safeties are playing them more. Now stronger corners are playing them more. Now taller corners are playing more. That's how you neutralize them, including Kelsey. Unless you have an anomaly like Gronkowski, who's 285 pounds and 6'7". That's another factor. But there's no Gronk this year. Even my man, what's his in Green Bay now? Jimmy Graham. He ain't been a stud.
Bro, he ain't been the same since the first Saints go around.
Right, but they know how to neutralize them.
No, he just ain't been the same athlete.
Now, do I think Kelsey's going to be like that? No, but I don't think Kelsey's going to go ahead.
I do.
I don't think Kelsey's going to go ahead and eclipse, like when they were talking about it, eclipse all of a sudden Tony Gonzalez.
He's still outpacing Tony. Right now, he's still outpacing him, but the game's changing, and he's not as big as he probably needs to be at his speed. Because if he was bigger at his speed, then he could still overpower people to catch the ball. But now
he's not as disciplined either.
Yeah,
that's all the factor. He's not. Tony G was disciplined.
We're supposed to be talking about the Texans.
Is discipline.
This is the Texans.
The Texans did a good job neutralizing it. The Texans did a great job of exposing something you've always been talking about, exposing y'all defensive front. Because Carlos Hyde, for his first 100-yard game of the season, was against y'all. He destroyed. Now, let me ask you this. Did Chris Jones even play that game?
Carlos Hyde has been playing well. I've been telling you that, and you just don't want to believe it. I know that part. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it. I mean, the Chiefs suck on defense as far as stopping the run.
I was going to ask you, was Chris Jones playing in this game?
No, he's still out. He's not even playing tomorrow. That groin is
that's a proven factor right there.
No. The Chiefs didn't stop. No. Chris Jones is not a run stopper. That's not what he does. He pursues quarterbacks. So, no, it doesn't make a difference if he's playing. It doesn't make a difference if he's playing on the run because they gash him too. He's a great pass rusher, but he is nobody's run stuffer.
So, basically telling me is that if you have even because the Texans don't have a great line. Not to mention their rookie got injured. What, second quarter, third quarter? He got hurt. Larry Tunsil is dizzy half the damn game, and he still ran for 125. Deshaun ran for 2 touchdowns.
Bro, listen.
Yeah.
The Texans running back looked like they were Barry Sanders, or no, their offensive line looked like the old Cowboys line that got Emmitt Smith the rushing title when it comes to moving the Chiefs' defensive linemen.
So you already know what's going to happen with y'all. We're going to run that. They're going to run the hell out of that ball.
That's what's about to happen. But again, this is the Texans segment. So back to Mahomes versus Watson. Watson won on the scoreboard, but the individual matchup, quarterback head-to-head, Patrick Mahomes wins.
It's all about the W anyway.
I get that, but the numbers
took it to another level. Watson took his game to another level by keeping calm. The one thing that Watson had issues with is when they were down, they were down. There's no comeback. Usually what should have happened is y'all actually should have probably got up.
It helped when you can hand the ball off to come back.
Hey, but regardless of the matter,
he didn't call the plays. This is, again, a team that literally ran the ball down the Chiefs' throat for 192 yards. That's how they won this game. They won time of possession by 17-plus minutes. The Chiefs, again, lose time of possession by double-digit minutes, and this is just like, come on now, this is a recipe. And without Patrick Mahomes being at 100%, the Chiefs need 30 points to win. They haven't scored 30 points since his ankle went out. But I'm not taking a darn thing away from the Texans. The Texans went into Arrowhead Stadium. Deshaun Watson threw his share of picks. That's why I'm saying he was not the standard out there on the field. He threw his share of picks, and his defense was just better than the Chiefs' defense. And
he didn't try to force the ball on the goal line situations and on short yardage situations. That run he did against y'all, whoever he faked to score the touchdown, that would have probably been, in Bill O'Brien's mind, that would have been a pass play. But Deshaun was smart enough to realize, screw this, let me run. And it worked.
I got you.
Like,
Deshaun
these guys
Watson
are not
played
covering
well.
me, so let me go run.
But let's call – I'm interested to see him against a good defense. Because the Chiefs still had a chance to win this game and actually shot themselves in the foot a lot. So I'm still interested to see him against a good defense. Right now, as much as it pains me to say, the standard in the AFC, and the AFC goes through New England because they have that defense.
Yeah, that's obvious. Yeah, they got that defense. The thing also with y'all is let's go with the Texans. The Texans damn near did give the game away in the fourth quarter because they had so many penalties. Every time you turned around, the ball was going back. And I was
only thing
very,
worse
very
than the Chiefs'
shocked.
defense in that game was those officials. That was the worst officiated game in the hit. Never mind. It's not in the history, but wow. Yeah.
No, because that Monday night game was worse.
Yeah.
But again, the fact of the matter is that the Texans gave up a lot of penalty points.
Both teams gave up a
lot
of penalty yards because the stars of this game were the officials.
And this is the future. So you do realize this is now the new future as far as the NFL is concerned.
Yeah,
this is
is
not necessarily
legal.
Brady versus Manning, but it's going to be. This is the one for the long run.
Oh, you talking about Watson versus Mahomes? I thought you were talking about the officials deciding that they were going to be the stars of this game instead of the players.
Well, that's just because they're terrible. With a capital T.
But hey, in your words, I agree with you. This is the new Manning.
Manning, Brady,
Elway,
Kelly, or
Montana,
whomever else you want to
Young, Aikman, Montana, Aikman, whoever you want to throw out there for the Niners. This is that new era, and the first round goes to Deshaun Watson, who had a chip on his shoulder, I know, going into this game because the Chiefs traded up, and they didn't pick him, and he had just won a national title. So kudos to Deshaun Watson for making the Chiefs, at least for one day, think about regretting picking Patrick Mahomes. He's still the
I
MVP.
won't say that.
He's still the MVP.
I,
Anyway, moving on with the Texans. At 4-2, Bill O'Brien's hot seat must have gotten cooler. But the same cannot be said for their kicker, Mr. Fairbairn.
he got to be benched.
Bench? You can't bench a kicker. What do you mean? You mean
Yes,
cutting?
Well, they have a backup kicker, so they can't technically bench him.
Who carries a backup kicker? That's a roster spot that goes to a player, not a kicker.
Well, there is a possibility. Although he said, as of right now, he's still going with Fairbairn.
And this is why the fans actually still want to get rid of Bill O'Brien. Even after a win like this at Arrowhead Stadium, I'm literally getting talked to every 6 seconds by a Texan fan telling me how much he hates and has disdain for Bill O'Brien. I thought Bill O'Brien called a great game on Sunday. But these fans don't like this guy.
And you also realize that he didn't call that game. They actually had the old coordinator did it.
I mean, like going for it in the fourth quarter instead of kicking the field goal, those were his decisions. That wasn't a coordinator. He had a good game as a head coach.
The thing is the kicker got to go when you're missing extra points. That's why I'm still to this day shocked that the Colts kept Adam Vinatieri, because he missed 4 extra points this season. Once you start missing extra points, it's got to go. The kicker doing something, once you do that, you got to find a backup kicker or something. My Steelers suffered from that last year, and still to this day, I understand why Chris Boswell, a.k.a. Rice Village, is still there.
There's no such thing as a backup kicker. If your kicker is not good enough, you cut him. You're taking a roster spot that you can use. You only get 40-something players, 46 players on
53.
game day? And you're going to take a roster spot with a second kicker? No. If your kicker isn't good enough, you cut him.
If you got to have 2 kickers, because if the kicker gets hurt for whatever stupid reason.
Nobody has a backup kicker. The only people that have backup kickers are teams that don't intend to win.
The Texans do.
Well, they don't intend to win. They didn't have a backup kicker in Kansas City, or they would have pulled Fairbairn. They're doing that this week because they want to put a threat in Fairbairn's ass. I'm telling you, no Super Bowl contender can carry 2 kickers because it's only 46 roster spots on game day. And if you got to give one of those spots to a second kicker who's literally just going to sit there all day, and a quarterback who should just be sitting there all day, then something's insanely wrong, and I don't think you're going to have the depth to compete in the National Football League because special teams is very important. So if Bill O'Brien is doing that, I'm on the bandwagon with getting rid of him.
I don't know about getting rid of him now. I don't think it's going to happen. I've been done with Bill O'Brien for a while, but I don't think they're ever going to get rid of him. I think as long as they're winning, as long as he has a great relationship with management.
They still aren't above 9-7. This is still early in the season now. This particular team and their schedule lines up really well. The only team I'm really afraid of for them is the Colts, or are the Colts. But to me, they should have the same game plan against the Colts as they had against the Chiefs, because
Jacksonville's not good. Well, that's true too. They're going to have it, but look at the teams that they're playing against. Jacksonville isn't scary anymore. Well, they were in the run scary even with Ramsey. The Titans are now
Jacksonville's still playing good football,
but they're not a threat like they were when they went 13-3. They're not that. They're still foreseeably can lose games because you still have, like it or not. As much as I like the stash, you're still a rookie. You're still learning. The Titans. Yeah, good luck. Tannehill is not a threat. Mariota. Yeah,
Mariota was benched. You didn't know? You didn't get that today? He was benched.
And I was the first one to tell you. We didn't know each other back then, but I was the first one to say the draft class that particular year, which I think was 16 or 15. I said neither quarterback was going to pan out to do shit. Am I right?
Not yet. I still have faith in Jameis Winston. He had a bad game. Everybody has one. Not that bad, but everybody has bad games.
He's had the most since 2016. He's had the most multi-interception games.
How many offensive coordinators has he had?
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
How many?
It matters. It matters if you learn a new playbook every year. That matters. Quarterbacking is a rhythm, and if you don't have a rhythm in quarterbacking because you don't know what plays you're going to be calling from year to year, then you're going to throw your share of picks. But anyway, we're not talking about Winston here.
The Texans will actually go ahead and, like I said,
I don't think they'll lose again till they get to the Patriots.
You know what? I thought about that, but I have a sleeper team, and that's a team that's in your division that I've all of a sudden have found some type of makeup, which I'm very shocked.
We're talking about the Raiders.
Yes, exactly.
Bro.
I am.
Holler at me later. I think their biggest threat right now are the Colts.
I will go ahead and buy your lunch on that Raiders thing. We're on record.
Oh, God. Listen, I just left Kansas City. My, I guess, technical stepdad is a Raiders fan. I hid his Yeti this weekend because he had that in my mama's house. Anyway, yes, I did.
Shout out to your stepdad.
No shout out. It's his house too now, but still, I hit it.
You got a Raiders
he's a Raider fan in my family.
Household.
Yeah, whatever. Right, I'm getting a massage due to that right now. Back to this. Let's move on to the Texans and the offensive line. This is now the second game in a row that this much beleaguered offensive line has not given up a sack. Are they finally starting to gel?
No, because now you lost your offensive guard.
I mean, but even after they lost him, they still didn't give up a sack.
Yeah, but I mean, by the time they lost him, it was only 2 games, like a half a quarter left. I'm still the debate is out there because you didn't go against 2 strong defensive line teams.
Hey,
no disrespect to the Chiefs.
They didn't send out the schedule makers, and they didn't tell the heavens to make Chris Jones get hurt. All they did is go out and do their jobs, and they did them these last 2 weeks. And I think that 1 week is an anomaly, 2 weeks is a pattern, or at least a streak. So
make it a 3. If you give me 3, then I'll go ahead and go for it.
For a couple games in a row, they have been a good offensive line. Deshaun Watson has not been sacked.
But also, Deshaun's coming out of shotgun more.
Okay,
so
but that's what he should have been doing because that's what he did in college.
Well, the difference is in the NFL, you're typically going to try to balance more for under the center and shotgun.
Well,
he's been playing more shotgun more because it gives him time.
The Chargers don't do that. Very few teams do that anymore. The run game comes from the gun.
Right, exactly. But again, what you should give credit to is the line and the running. I have to say this. Their balance in running using Duke and Carlos Hyde is actually surprising to me.
Duke Johnson.
Duke coming out of the backfield and receiving. He did have, 4 receptions for like 50 yards or something, which was surprising.
Are we going to eat our words from early in the season when I was talking about my manager?
No.
I'm
going to keep saying, you're having the expectation of you got 2,000-yard backs. I'm sitting there saying, they got games. And I'm still saying, they got games. This was one of them. But I ain't on the bandwagon.
So the offensive line, 2 games in a row, you're still not sold yet?
Nope. Play me against a top 10 defense. You have a top 10 offense, but y'all have a below-bottom defense.
But they don't need that. I mean, honestly, they're going to get the Jags in a couple weeks. That'll give you something.
I want to see them go. When they put it like this.
But until they meet the Patriots, they're not going to face it at the top team.
If they can hold it against the Patriots, where he gets –
that's a long way down the season, bro. They're going to win 5 games between now and then.
If they can do the next 3 games where he gets 2 sacks or less –
they could be 9-2 by then.
Well, let's hope so. The Texans fans want to go 9-2.
I'm not hoping. Never mind. I'm trying to win home field advantage, and somebody need to beat the damn Patriots. Anyway, so the offensive line, you're not sold on. I'm not sold on that offensive line either. I will say that, the fact that they caught a break with missing Chris Jones. But, Frank Clark was out there, and they blocked him sufficiently. He had it. Never mind. I was reading stats this week, and never mind. We're talking about the Texans. Let me zone in.
Yeah,
here.
when you get to the Chiefs, because I can talk about Frank Clark, because I still think he was overpaid.
Yeah.
But that's
I mean, that's not even a topic, so let's just move on. Week 7.
He wasn't it.
Week 7 preview, Texans Colts. We kind of been talking about it. Jacoby Brissett and the Colts riding in. The big advantage we all know going into this game is T.Y. Hilton is healthy against the Texans defense. However, the Colts are more a running team, and the Texans did give up 4 yards of carry, but the Colts are not a run defending team, as they are the only team almost as bad as the Kansas City Chiefs in defending the run. With that being said, what do you think happens on Sunday?
You know what? This is actually going to be a knockdown, drag-out matchup, which is going to be a surprise. But I can see this being somewhat of a shootout.
A shootout? I doubt
yeah.
that. Like I said, I think the Texans' game plan is very similar to that they had with the Chiefs, because the Colts' run defense is almost as bad as the Chiefs. So if you can average 5 yards a pop and run the ball and clock the ball, I don't see a shootout.
But the Colts are going to do the same defensive plan they did with y'all. They're going to do it with the Texans. What are they going to do? They're going to blitz the shit out of Justin Houston, and whoever is up on that
he's still
next
not
going
to get a sack. He's not due for a sack till week 9.
He got a sack. How many sacks did he get against y'all?
1.
That's still one more than what he had before.
Exactly.
I still think
now he has a grand total of 2. He's not due for another sack until week 9.
You got it like he's about to have a baby. Not a sack, it's a baby. But, again, I think the fact of the matter is that they're similar. They both have they have so-so running games in both of them. Marlon Mack, everybody will say, Marlon Mack's good. He's not great.
Bro, he's been balling
good,
for the last 2 years. You can call him what you want to call him. I'm going to call him great because 2 years of work now. Now, you can say 1 year is a fluke. Now it's 2 years, and 2 years ain't a fluke. Not in this league.
Alfred Morris.
Alfred Morris, come on. He didn't ball. Mack is balling. Alfred Morris just got 1,000 yards. He didn't get 1,500. This dude is balling. This dude is knocked down, drag out, carrying this team basically. So
we're gonna see. I don't see that. Again, like I said, defensive wise, I think the fact of the matter is who gets the most pressure, obviously, but I do think this is going to be a more aerial game than ground game.
I don't believe that because, again, the Colts are just as bad as the Chiefs on defense as far as stopping the run. And they just saw – and the Texans just saw this game plan work against one of the most explosive teams in all of football. You think they're going to not do it against a team like the Colts?
They're going to try it, so we're going to see. I just think, again, and then with Deshaun being hot and he being X Factor, Jacoby Brissett is one thing.
Deshaun's not that hot, bro. The Texans beat the Chiefs, not Deshaun.
Deshaun is he's not passing, quote unquote, hot.
Oh,
the way
okay.
You like it.
All right,
but he's getting to the end zone.
I got you.
I don't give a fuck. I'm to the point. I don't care about how you're passing.
Well, he's a quarterback, so you got to pass.
Hey, Nick Foles for a Super Bowl kind of passed.
Bro,
he wasn't exactly what I call hot, but he got to the end zone.
I'm not saying Deshaun's not great. I'm just saying he wasn't exactly hot. He just
give me 6. That's all
they won, and he's a good football player. All right, so I'm gonna pick. I don't know how to pick this game, but I think if the Texans do what I say they're going to do, and use much the same game plan as they used against the Chiefs, and be just as aggressive on 4th and 1 as they were against the Chiefs, then yes, I'm going to take the Texans like 31-14. But if the Texans play like Bill O'Brien decides he wants to crap on this game, then I'll take the Colts 14-13.
You got them going low as far as the score.
No. 31-14 and 14-13 are reasonable. Because, again, if Bill O'Brien takes a crap on this game, then I don't think the Texans will score a lot. And I think their kicker will miss a lot of kicks. That's just me.
I'm going 41-30. Oh, shit. I'm going 41-31.
You think the Colts will score
right.
31 points?
Nah, I'm going to go like this. Nah, you're right. I just thought about it. I'm doing a calculation in my head. I'm going to go 28-21 Texans. I do feel that get enough. They'll get a couple scores out of it because
You don't
here's
see a
one thing.
letdown after Kansas City?
No. T.Y. Hilton is still out there. I still like the quote-unquote joker of the Texans. And like it or not, they still don't have an answer for T.Y. Hilton. So I think he goes off.
I know
if
he
he's
goes
healthy,
off.
he's going off. So that's why I said I'm going to go a little higher than that. And for some odd reason, they haven't really been throwing the ball to Eric Ebron. And I think this may be the game he can go off because between him and I'm going to say Fales, and Fales is balling. Hey, he's doing pretty good considering the fact the Texans haven't had a great tight end since Owen Daniels. But I think those two will be a factor as far as the Colts are concerned. And then, hey man, let's just be honest. D-Hop hasn't had a 100-yard game since week 1. He's due for another one. If he's this elite, if he's the 99 of the wide receivers, he's only had 100-yard game and that's week 1. And we are now going in week 7. It's time. I think he goes off. So that's why I'm gonna go 28-21 Texans.
All right, you got 28-21 Texans. I gave you 2 scenarios, so I don't know how we're gonna call that. We're moving on to the Kansas. Go ahead.
I'm going to the Texans. I don't think at all. I'm not going at all with the Colts. So
it just depends on which O'Brien shows up. And I definitely mean that from the bottom of my heart. Let's move on to the reason I'm eating crow this week, the Kansas City Chiefs. I spent a lot of money going to Kansas City. I spent even more money buying tickets for 5 people for the Kansas City Chiefs to lay an egg on my great return after 13 years.
And it took a lot of cash.
It took a lot of money. And for me to be sitting on the 14th row watching the abysmal performance of this defense has only led me to believe that one thing is true. And it's not just about this particular team and this particular defense. It's about Andy Reid and his coaching of defenses throughout the years. Andy Reid is an offensive coach. Andy Reid has always emphasized offense and trying to make his offenses explosive. In the process of doing so, the Kansas City Chiefs defense can only be described by 2 words in our dictionary: soft and finesse, the 2 worst words to be associated with any defense in the history of the National Football League. The Kansas City Chiefs have given up 172 yards rushing per game. The last 2 games, they have literally been outpossessed by their team by a half an hour plus. They have the MVP of the league, and they lost their last 2 games because he just isn't getting the ball enough. It's time for the Kansas City Chiefs to call Andy Reid and his coaching style what it is: soft. And it's time for the Chiefs to do something about it, or this season, which everyone thought was a Super Bowl season, is going to turn into garbage, and it's going to turn into garbage real quick, like tomorrow night, if they lose to the Denver Broncos.
And Denver is riding a high right now with their last win. You're right. The defense has been playing soft, but more importantly, not just soft, but undisciplined. I'm sorry. Breland, when he was in Washington, and I stated this before, when he was in Washington, he was borderline Pro Bowl. He did a better job than Josh Norman when Josh Norman was the headliner when he first got to Washington. He outplayed Josh Norman. He gets to y'all, and it's penalty, it's bad play, it's over aggressiveness. I don't know what's up with the dude, but he's one of the reasons of it. We can go there with Frank Clark.
Bro, can I stop you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a single problem with Rashard Breeland. Yes, he's giving up penalties. I don't give a damn. You know why? Because he's one of the only people on this defense that have been aggressive about anything this season.
He's over-aggressive.
I don't care. You need something. When your defensive line is playing like they got pillows in front of them, then somebody needs to act like they're tough. So, no, I don't care that he's holding. He's not giving up pass interference calls. Holdings are fine. He gave up 1 PI. I'm okay with the holding, especially because it doesn't matter anyway when your freaking front line and linebackers are giving up 7-8 yards a carry.
So once again, what do you do? So yeah,
I
you
don't
hold
know.
the defense accountable. You hold the defense accountable, right? So y'all have to come with a game plan.
Accountable,
accountable.
Y'all are
zone. Whoa, hold up. Y'all are playing. Y'all got to figure out what y'all doing, because that Texans game, I seen zone sometimes. I seen man to man. Y'all are more, and then I seen that in the Colts game too. Y'all are more effective on zone.
Bro,
don't do man.
Man to man, zone, none of that matters if you can't stop the run. If you can't get your MVP onto the field, it doesn't matter.
Well, that's one thing it is. Y'all got to go ahead. Y'all are playing against each other. Y'all figuring y'all can't run the ball, but y'all can't stop the run.
It's not that we can't run the ball. It's that we don't run the ball. And we'll get there in a second. But this team is just soft defensively. And that's why I don't have a problem with Rashard Breeland. That's why I've told you all year I'm okay with the secondary, because the secondary is at least tough. They may not be able to shut you down, but they are tough, and they want to tackle. These guys, this front seven, these linebackers, these linemen, the Chiefs have done a terrible freaking job of drafting, outside of Chris Jones, the front seven. Let's just call it what it is. And at some point, somebody's got to be held accountable for it, because we couldn't stop the run last year, and we can't stop the run this year. And you had a whole offseason, and you literally still got $20 million in cap room, and you still can't stop the run. What the hell are you doing?
They're trying to shoot it out. That's the problem.
Well,
you
can't shoot it out if you can't get the ball.
Talk to Andy Reid on that one, but that's what it is. Y'all think y'all can go ahead and have old school NFL shootouts?
Well,
so
we could if we could get the ball back. We're trying to play old school run and gun football, and everybody else said, well, that little guy you got on the sideline, he's pretty darn good. I'm just not going to give him the freaking football, and your defense ain't going to do a damn thing about it.
So you do know, if y'all prevail, which I still think y'all will go to the playoffs and everything, y'all play a team like New England.
I don't know that we beat the Broncos, but we're going to get there soon.
Woo! Y'all got that guy number 58 who is playing inspired now that they quote-unquote told him he was a tradable commodity.
I don't care about that. They got Philip Lindsay, and they can run the damn football. Carlos Hyde destroyed us last week. But speaking of that, let's move on. Y'all see how I feel about the Chiefs and being soft. And like I said, defensives hate those words, soft and finesse, and that's what the Chiefs are right now defensively. And until they show me differently, that's just what they are. And I don't know that anybody can argue against that case. Brett Veach, Andy Reid, and the NFL's new Texas Tech. So the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes in the 2017 draft number 10 overall. I didn't know they were bringing the entire Texas Tech idea to Kansas City. Texas Tech is a great offense, awful defense. Quarterbacks put up great numbers, and they lose almost all their games. They are not competitive against big-time schools, and this is just what the Chiefs have done. And in addition to them doing it, they brought the Chargers along the ride with them, which have allowed a lowly team like the Raiders to become relevant again. And my question is, why?
Here's the thing. Y'all go ahead. Y'all run the spread. Y'all go to what they feel is the advantage of your quarterback. Now, if this was year one, then I was like, okay, I get it. Now that Mahomes has proven that he doesn't necessarily have to have a certain type of style of offense, long as someone can protect his ass to get the ball out.
The Chiefs can't throw a pass from under center because he'll be sacked before the third damn step, because this offensive line that you were saying was good 3 weeks ago is awful.
Well, like you said, things change. That's the definite change. It's what have you done for me lately? And they haven't done Patrick Mahomes good.
No. That's your attitude. I knew they sucked in. I told you that then.
They was covering them for a couple of games.
No. He was healthy then. He's made them look good for now a year and a half. The only person good on that offensive line is Mitchell Schwartz, and he's a little overrated too.
Oof. Hey, I wish I had like Brian Waters. Shout out to the
man. I miss those days. Could you imagine that line with this quarterback?
Yeah, with that quarterback, it would have been
God,
something. But that's the art of even. That's
bro,
how the football gods are. You
bro,
have a
they
great
just
line of
tease,
mediocre
tease,
quarterback.
tease.
Y'all gave y'all a better quarterback, but you gave y'all a shitty line.
So tell
Anyways,
me,
an overrated number one.
do you agree that the Chiefs have kind of made the Chiefs? I'm sorry that Brett Veach and Andy Reid have kind of made the Chiefs the NFL's Texas Tech, because I think they have.
Yeah, I would actually take it further. I know you don't watch college football, but if you would ever watch West Virginia with Rich Rodriguez several years ago, that's what y'all were. Y'all spread the ball and basically fling it around everywhere, but y'all basically make a play hoping the running back has a 80 or 90-yard break for a touchdown.
That's what we're playing for. We're playing for the home run on every play.
Because that's how a lot of back in the days was West Virginia with Devine and Steve Slayton, and even same as going way back then. That's how they played. They would have 5 carries for 150 yards because the offense was set to give you that one home run going on. That's what y'all doing right now.
Defense is this bad. You can't swing for the fences every time. You need a 10-play drive. You need a 12-play drive. You need a 5-7 minute drive. Yes, I know, and Eric Bieniemy even said he's as guilty as everyone else when it comes to just slinging the ball around. But I know you got this shiny toy. I know you want to play with this shiny toy. But your defense just can't allow you to play with the shiny toy as much as you want to. So
but the thing is, it's interesting. He's a running back, and he does not like running the ball. I always thought that was interesting. He's a former running back that does not run.
It's not that he doesn't like running the ball. If you had Patrick Mahomes, you would want to throw the ball too. I get it. But you have to adjust. You absolutely have to adjust. And right now, this defense has to run the ball. And I don't trust LaShawn McCoy. Listen, I understand that he was a good running back some years ago, but I don't like fumblers. This is Kansas City, Missouri, and we have never liked people that fumble the football. Turnovers are an enemy of the Kansas City Chiefs. And LaShawn McCoy fumbles too damn much for my comfort level.
Well, that's because he went back to his old style running the ball.
Well,
after a while, when he was in Philly, they stopped making him have the run
was that after Andy Reid left?
Right, and that's what was the big thing when they brought in Peterson. Peterson hated his run style. That's the reason why they traded LaShawn McCoy for Kirk Alonso, a straight one-up-one. So you talk about Pro Bowl running back versus at that time Kirk Alonso was only in his second year in the league, and there was a straight one-on-one trade because Peterson hated how LaShawn runs the ball. That's why Reggie Bush is not in the league anymore because Reggie Bush didn't get it until late in his career to stop running the ball with one hand palm.
I'm just saying, if I'm a coach, I would take Kiko Alonso over LaShawn McCoy and his thinking that he's running with toilet paper because it's National Football League and you cost people games when you turn the ball over. Let's move along to the repeat performance. Yes, the team got its number one receiver back, but it feels like a replay of Andy Reid in Philadelphia, losing by almost 20 minutes in time of possession and only carrying the ball 11 times. What can the Chiefs do about that?
Y'all have to run the ball. Y'all have to do a balance.
Well, people have been telling Andy to do that since he was in Philly, and he's just not going to do it.
But he did it in Philly. He did it with Westbrook and McNabb. He kind of did it with Deuce and McNabb. He did it towards the later years with Vic and LaShawn.
So what you're saying is he don't trust his running backs.
He doesn't trust the line. Because one thing Philly had all those years, they had a line.
11 carries, 52 yards is more than 4 yards a pop. He was doing fine running the ball last week. He chose to stop running.
He's either not trusting the line or not trusting the running backs. But y'all have so many running backs by committee. If he's not happy with McCoy, you got Williams. If it's not Williams,
you know what that means, right? That means that I don't have a running back that I really like, so I'm just gonna throw you all out there and just say the hell with it. Show me something. And if you only give everybody 2 carries, what the hell can they show you?
Again, if he feels like that, then he needs to go before this season is over, or before week 8 hits and ends. He needs to trade to get a running back.
No. Listen, obviously he don't care about
Someone
the
he's
running
comfortable
game.
with.
He don't care about the running game.
But the problem is it's a long season. You have a hurt Mahomes. You're constantly making him throw the ball.
He knew Mahomes was hurt going into that game and still only handed the ball off 11 times.
Because he don't care. As long as he, like you said, he has a shiny new toy, he's going to keep using the damn toy until the toy breaks.
That's freaking insane. How can you be a Super Bowl contender if you don't try to complete your team? Completing your team means establishing a solid run game to complement what? Your passing attack. The Chiefs aren't doing it. Andy Reid needs to really look at Bill Belichick and figure out how to win a Super Bowl. Because at this point, he's been in this league a long time, and it's not gotten done yet. He's got the most talent he's ever been surrounded by in his career. And right now, he's kind of floundering. I think Andy Reid has the chops, but he's really got to check his ego and do what's best to win a Super Bowl for this Kansas City Chiefs team. We're going into week. Oh, hold on. We got cut off. Go ahead.
No. Y'all have a great team. That's not his most talented team. Maybe it's not his most talented quarterback, not his most talented team.
What receiver is better than Tyreek Hill?
T.O. in his prime.
Not better than Tyreek Hill.
T.O. in his – okay, that team that went to the Super Bowl with Andy Reid had T.O. in his prime. If you want to go – we'll talk about off camera. Let's go with the week because we'll go over on time. But,
right.
Nah, bro, I'm going T.O. in his – T.O. in his prime is better than Tyreek. Facts. But go ahead. Let's go.
All right. Chiefs got the Broncos going tomorrow, Thursday Night Football, trying to rebound from a 2-game home losing streak. The good news is the Chiefs are on the road, and Mahomes will probably be better because he is not as hype as he is in Kansas City. What do you think?
The Mile High is a beast.
The Mile High is a beast. But remember, this is his very first start in the National Football League, and it's his very first win in the National Football League. So this kid ain't afraid of being Mile High.
I'm actually going to say still the Chiefs. I just think it is not going to be a cakewalk, which a lot of people are. For whatever reason, I don't know why Denver's floundering outside of course probably because Joe Flacco's been overrated. But this isn't going to be a cakewalk.
Good.
No, a lot of people still I'm going back to the Super Bowl. Dude, a lot of people was putting Joe Flacco didn't deserve that contract.
Hell no, he didn't deserve that contract.
That's all I'm saying.
That's like paying Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, that's it. But I'm still going to go ahead and say y'all winning this game by, I'd say 31-15.
All righty. I am 4-2 in picking the Chiefs games this year because every game this year I have picked the Chiefs to win.
Of course.
I cannot do that after watching that bludgeon in Arrowhead Stadium last week. Not when the Denver Broncos have Philip Lindsay and other running backs that will absolutely gash this Chiefs defense. Until I see something different, I am going to pick against the Chiefs. That means I'm going to pick the Denver Broncos 23, the Kansas City Chiefs 22.
Wow. You hear it, folks. He's going against the homer is going against his team.
I am going for logic. Listen, I love my team. I love the Kansas City Chiefs, but I am a realist. And as a realist, I saw the bludgeoning that happened last week, and Carlos Hyde and the Texans' pathetic offensive line shoved the Chiefs around for 3 hours. I'm sorry to tell you.
Denver's line is worse than the Texans, bro.
I don't know if that's possible, but we will see.
I'm
sorry. I said 24-22. I'm sticking with my score. With that being said, let's move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Great game, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
So,
I picked them. We won, and we won. I won't say we won handily because they came back in the fourth quarter, but that defense showed up, and that's what counted. We needed to get that defense running. And the defense came and delivered some straight hits to Phillip Rivers, because they came in on a primetime game thinking they were going to blow out the lowly Steelers and the third string quarterback that's more known for his duck calling than his touchdowns, and blow us out. And what we did is we balanced the ball. Now, no, Juju only had
I don't call
2
what
catches.
you did balance, but go ahead.
Huh?
I don't call what you did balance, but go ahead. Because
I didn't even call it balance.
what did he throw the ball 25 times?
No, I'm talking about balance between the running backs.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So we did this. What did I tell you? What I've been saying for the last 3 weeks? If we run a 2-back offense, we can stay in games. We can win games. We ran a 2-back offense. James Conner had 41 yards, but he had 70 yards receiving. But the kid Benny Snell, which I'll talk about later, he had 78 yards. We bounced the ball. We ran the clock until the fourth quarter, where all of a sudden Tomlin kind of let the kid have the reins, which was not a real smart move, which I'll talk about that. Well, I'm talking about it now. You know, we gave the third stringer some chance to throw the ball because we got comfortable because we was up 24-3, and all of a sudden he throws a pick, and then it was 3 and out a couple times.
Why not try to get in some experience your fourth quarter and you're winning by 21 points, and clearly
I don't give a damn.
The Chargers suck.
You stamp on their neck until they die.
Why? No. So the Chargers suck, and you know why the Chargers suck? Because they too are now soft because they follow the Chiefs' blueprint.
Well, the thing is also with the Chargers being soft is they didn't. One of the biggest things is we did something that we didn't do last year. Last year we got killed by Justin Jackson and demolished by Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen was almost a non-factor
for the
in that
second
game.
week in a row.
But what happened is they were going to Hunter Henry. I'm not sure
Keenan
why.
Allen has been screwing me in fantasy football.
Well, hey, you hate Phillip Rivers, so why are you going to pick his receiver? But again,
he's been balling. I'm not stupid.
Well,
I don't like Phillip Rivers, but if he's been playing well, duh.
He ain't been balling that much, though.
Not any damn more.
What's happening is our defense is finally playing up the part. Minka actually was playing corner a lot of the games, if you didn't see it. So they brought in...
Stevie's hurt.
Say it again?
Stevie's hurt.
Correct. So we moved Minka instead of Tomlin keeping and trying to throw in another one. We had Sutton sometimes at cornerback, and then we had Minka
I don't get
playing.
credit for knowing your player by the first name like that.
He was on your team.
Hey, that is not important. That's not important. That's not important. I mean, come on now.
He knows the former chief.
Everybody don't know all that. This is a new episode. They didn't go back then.
I know Breland, and he wasn't a Steeler, so what does that say? Nothing. Anyway, the point being said, we did blitz properly. The kid, I keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. Devin Bush is a stud. You said the thing, he's okay, he's out there.
Can I have your coaching staff?
My coaching staff is finally. Well, here's the thing.
No,
I told you, my defensive coach.
Can I have them? Because I hate.
No.
I told you. I didn't tell you this on the show, but I didn't like the Steve Spagnuolo crap anyway. This is just another Andy Reid guy that we're just dealing with, and it's pissing me off because no Andy Reid guy actually knows how to coach a defense. But go ahead.
But y'all can go ahead and keep some Spagnuolo and keep the whole. We're good. We don't need no changes.
I just want.
Unless you want to shoot, we'll take your staff. Okay, you take our staff. We take your quarterback.
Fuck.
I'm
sorry. Never mind.
We're gonna let that go. Thank you. Moving on.
Can I get a beat? Because that really
no.
You can. No one
we
can
making
have
your
my
quarterback look better. We helping your cornerback look better. Hey, I'm sorry. That looks great.
Well, it's because my coaching staff sucks. That's what I'm saying. I want your coaching staff.
But we do have an issue out there is to talk about it first. We have yet another injury. Now it's stepping to it, our solid Pro Bowl defensive lineman who actually last couple of years has played healthy. He actually just came off. I take that back. He was actually the one that had a pectoral pull last year. Same thing happened to him this year, so he's out for the season. They just announced it. So now I don't know how many players is on IR, but I mean, I'm so glad this is a bye week. But
Bro,
at this rate, we're going to call people off the street. They might as well go ahead. Me and you might as well just go to Pittsburgh and see if we can go ahead and try out just for the fuck of it. Because we're
I
hurt.
am not
We're
playing in the
bad.
National Football League. I can barely run up my stairs 3 times.
Okay, see, that's you. At least I can get. I told you can always run with me, baby. We can get that running.
Nah,
Come
I
on,
don't
man.
run with tall people. Ever since high school, and I realized that I got these short legs and I work really hard to run, I don't run with people over 6 feet tall. Actually,
Anyway,
yeah. Listen.
We got another issue with that. So I'm glad this bye week is happening.
Bro, I've never been so pissed at the bye week as at week freaking 12. So you're talking about your injuries, and yes, I'm KCReginaldJr. So that means I'm going to relate everything back to what? Kansas City. Hello.
Yes, we knew it.
I'm so sick of injuries. I'm so
That's the name of the game.
sick of injuries. All of my starters seem like they've been hurt this year. All of them.
And the same thing is, y'all got to keep playing. So keep playing and playing and playing,
Until
baby.
week freaking 12. The saving grace is that the Chargers are just as bad as us right now. And I mean worse than us.
The Raiders are actually playing good.
I will not consider the Raiders a threat until further notice.
The Raiders are coming for you.
No.
Now, they'll be that upset special.
No.
I have that circle as upset special. Raiders.
So, third string to the rescue. What? Well, you didn't change the title of this one. Benny Snell help while Samuels is on the IR?
Benny Snell did amazing because here's the thing.
Why I couldn't find him in my league? Why somebody already snatched him up?
Because they're smart. I got Benny Snell on mine anyway.
Bro, my fantasy sucks. I'm 2-4.
The one big factor with Benny Snell is the fact is he's a former All-American that played in the SEC. If you know if anybody knows college football, know the SEC.
He's talking about me, people.
The SEC is the strongest conference. The ACC and the SEC are the 2 strongest conferences.
Well, I know that.
In college football. But the fact of the matter is, this kid beat out the Alabamas, the LSUs, the Floridas, those schools to become an All-American out of Kentucky, who's not known for having a shitload of players. I think the last All-American they had at quarterback was Tim Couch, if I'm not mistaken. Running back, I have no clue. I have no clue. Actually, Randall Cobb, if I'm not mistaken. But I think Randall Cobb, ended up getting converted, of course, to wide receiver. But, again, the kid balled. He held on to the rock. Because Connor doesn't look bad, but he's not running. He's running aggressively. I think he's trying to prove a point, but I still want to be careful with that because over-aggressiveness means sometimes turnover.
Bro, they had basically identical numbers.
Exactly.
So,
they did.
I like y'all's 2 running back scheme. I think if y'all stick with the 2 running back scheme, y'all be successful.
I've been saying that, though. I said we run the 2. When we won Super Bowls, it was a 2-back offense. I keep telling people that. Yeah, we got the love of having Le'Veon, but even in Le'Veon's best season, we had D'Angelo Williams relieving him at times. And D'Angelo, although he was not the same running back he was in Carolina, he was still a great relief for Le'Veon, including when Le'Veon was suspended. The 2-back system works for us. It may not work for other teams, but it's working for us. And it kept Devlin Hodges from not having to feel he has to win the game. Because the last thing we needed to do is have him trying to throw the ball everywhere or force the ball. Although Juju didn't get great numbers. I think Juju was 2 for maybe 36 yards or something like that. He didn't get his first catch actually until the 4th quarter. But he was cool with it, unlike some guy that's not in the league right now still going on
Antonio Brown, the bum.
We're not going to, again, you saying his name. The guy doesn't need the name check.
You're right, because he's not a National Football League player.
Thank you. Exactly my point. But it worked out. But I have to go back to the kid, Devin Bush, the stud, leads the league in tackles, had a fumble recovery, a sack, could have had a pick. He messed that one up. He bobbled it, could have had a pick. The kid's a stud. Not to mention today they made the announcement he was the
Defensive
AFC,
Player
rookie.
of the Week in the AFC.
Thank you.
Blah,
Not
blah.
rookie, though.
Blah,
Defensive player.
blah, blah. So
Yeah.
I will tell you this.
Hey.
I am on the bandwagon. You know why I'm finally on the bandwagon? Yes. Let's go Devin Bush. See that? Even the fans like him. Anyway.
The fans like him, and he balls.
You know why I'm on the wagon? Because I haven't seen a good linebacker in freaking years. So I'm enjoying watching him play linebacker.
Especially inside linebacker. Considering the fact the last couple of years, the great inside linebackers have not really been. I mean, let's be realistic.
Who's the great inside linebackers the last few years?
I'm trying to think of one, to be honest with you. The only one I can think of actually is the kid that's right here in Texas, is McKinney for the Texans. And he plays more outside than inside when they have to bring Merciless up to the line.
Yeah, no. I haven't seen a great inside linebacker other than your guy. I'm actually finally there. Watching him play. I'm there with you finally. I didn't want to just give it to you because, you're a homer. We all are. But the kid is legit, and he's taking this league by storm, especially at that position because, like I just said, the cupboard is bare. But right. I like Devin Bush.
He got heart, too. And the thing is, he plays with a chip on his shoulder. He has the same chip, and again, I'm not calling him Ray Lewis, but he has the same chip when Ray Lewis came out.
Nobody has the same chip as Ray Lewis because he ain't killed nobody.
Well, okay, we're not going there with that one. But when I'm saying that is,
you ain't got to go, but that's the truth.
Ray said the same chip when they said
he had a chip because he killed somebody.
Before he didn't kill anybody until after he had been in the league for a couple years.
I didn't know who Ray Lewis was until after that trial.
You ain't really watch football. Well,
I did.
You didn't watch the AFC. You didn't watch.
How the hell I didn't watch the AFC when I'm a Chief fan?
But you ain't watched our division because Ray Lewis has been there. Trust me, I did years where it was Ray Lewis. When it was James Sharp or Ray Lewis.
I didn't know who he was until he killed that man. That's all.
You're going to figure that out. We'll leave that one go.
Yeah.
Ray Lewis ain't in the league. He's dancing with the stars, and he's still hurt.
Oh, yeah, he's dancing with the stars, but he still got a body.
So.
Yeah. Anyway.
We'll leave it at that.
So the Steelers on a bye this week, and that's good news. That means they can't lose.
And even better, we get Miami.
So that means that's a two-game streak. That means a win, actually 3 games. A win last week, a bye this week, and Miami next week. So a second bye. Good job, Pittsburgh. Moving to close our show, we're going to, because I think we can squeeze in something between now and the start of basketball next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
He said, yeah. All righty. With that being said, we're going to close our show with our weekly rant. This time, it's Mr. J-Dub himself.
All right, so let's go on with it. I'm going to name some names. LeBron James, Michael Sam, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, Colin Kaepernick, Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. What do these guys all have in common? All different eras, all different times, but they had one thing. They all voiced their opinion about something that is taboo in quote-unquote the locker room. Of course, Michael Sam, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year in the SEC, dropped because, yes, he said he was gay, but more he put his stance on how he felt about it, how he felt that it could be progressive. Now the guy's not in the league. That sucks because Missouri, when I watched him, Michael Sam was the truth. Colin Kaepernick, the Neil, everybody knows about it. Jim Brown and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Muhammad Ali. The only reason why Kareem was not, especially when he changed his name from Lou Alcindor to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the only reason why he was not in the league, they didn't try to ban him from the league, is because he was the league. He was the biggest name in the league. Same thing with LeBron James. Jim Brown to this day is finally admitting the reason why he quit the NFL early is because the NFL wanted to silence him on his political views when they dealt with Muhammad Ali. And he refused to deal with it and would rather go to acting and ended versus then his career. He ended his career at 30 years old and still to this day could have probably been the all-time leading rusher to this day. Remember, he was the number one when he retired in not that many seasons. I think maybe in 8 or 9 seasons. So it would have been a hell of a lot harder for Emmitt Smith to achieve that, and that line would have had taken a longer time. What I'm trying to say is now look at LeBron James. LeBron James is the face of the NBA, like it or not. He sat there and said that Daryl Morey, the GM for the Houston Rockets, was uninformed. Next thing you know, about the topic in China, dealing with the Hong Kong and the People's Republic of China, they're having their war about independence. LeBron James said Daryl Morey was uninformed and it was bad timing. Due to the fact is when the NBA went over to China, they had no sponsorship and they were playing in empty arenas. LeBron James in an empty arena. LeBron James, keep it in mind, in an empty arena. The reason why I'm saying these names is because the fact of the matter is anytime athletes want to get involved and talk politics, it gets to be taboo. It's always, shut up, you're an athlete. Shut up, you just need to dribble the ball, catch the ball, throw the ball, what have you. Where it's also forcing their careers now. LeBron James got jerseys burned in China because of his views. There are sponsors that now are hesitant to letting LeBron come to China, where he's been to China on average, he says, 2 to 3 times a year with Nike. It sucks. If I'm an athlete, I should be able to point my view without having to get in trouble, as long as I'm informed, as long as I know what the hell I'm talking about. Colin Kaepernick is now wasting his career away because he's banned for his views about police brutality, because the president of the United States is using that as a platform to go ahead and get back at the NFL because he couldn't buy the Buffalo Bills years before. It sucks. I really wish people would go ahead and designate I really want them to designate the fact is we all have views and we all have opinions and we're allowed to say it, like it or not. And it shouldn't cost us millions of dollars because we feel a certain way in our heart. Because like it or not, we are still all children of God and we all have an opinion, we all have a mouth, and we can say what we want to say. So for those people who I named that have to go ahead, and for them, I commend them for even saying it, speaking out, and doing what they have to do. But for those ones that want to keep quiet just to keep a buck, shame on you, man. You should be able to speak what you want to speak. But that's my opinion. Yeah, I'll keep it to it. Peace out.
With that being said, I'm KCReginaldJr.
It's your man J-Dub in the building.
This has been Underdawg Sportz. We'll see you next Wednesday.
All right, peace.
Fuller Theological Seminary is one of the largest multi-denominational seminaries in the world. At our Houston campus, we are committed to fostering a vibrant learning community. Whether you're called to traditional ministry or a less conventional pulpit, Fuller Seminary will help you take the next step in your vocation. Study at our Houston campus and receive a 50% tuition discount on all classes taken on campus. Visit fuller.edu/Texas Fellowship or tap the banner to learn more. Fuller Theological Seminary is one of the largest multi-denominational seminaries in the world. At our Houston campus, we are committed to fostering a vibrant learning community. Whether you're called to traditional ministry or a less conventional pulpit, Fuller Seminary will help you take the next step in your vocation. Study at our Houston campus and receive a 50% tuition discount on all classes taken on campus. Visit fuller.edu/Texas Fellowship or tap the banner to learn more.